This poem is called View of a Dad, and there'll be a brief explanation of what it means when I've finished reading it. My dad lay on his deathbed, relaxed, still and shriveled, his eyes closed, startling ivory lids. I'd crossed his hands across his ancient silent chest, much diminished bulk, very dead, but impossible to accept. One life less, his burden vanished. He was now a product for transport. I placed my hand on his. I did not feel repulsed. One should feel a taboo breached for touching the dead. Foolishness for speaking to them. My dad could not respond or accuse or agree. He was just dead, still heavy, still a burden of human meat, strapped to a trolley for an undignified exit, a galaxy away from fun. He'd never be too dead to pity. I remember his life, the music and anchor of earthly pleasure. It had been worth the effort, worthy of note. The dread fact, his weight. Still relevant, the men had to move him, the process of death. The alabaster of his skin was shocking. It made me sad. I can remember him taking me to a fair, dodgems, candy floss and shooting galleries, shoulder rides. He was strong and nimble then. I remember his voice, always encouraging. Dad definitely ran hot back then. His bite far worse than his bark. He could pick up an engine. He set off fireworks and untangled a seagull. Still now. All accolades, good or bad, have passed, to retrospect, but never lost. I stared down at him for a long time. They were going to process him and stretch his face like a banjo skin. And that's the end of it. So I wrote a few notes about what that means. So View of a Pig by Ted Hughes had been introduced to me by one of those teachers who really care about their subject. This teacher was passionate about the English language and could also throw one of those old wooden-backed board rubbers with unerring accuracy and sizzling speed at anyone uninterested in what he was teaching. The poem made a big impression on me. Up until that point, I'd thought poetry to be some kind of esoteric and inaccessible art form for the educated classes only. View of a Pig showed me that poetry didn't have to be impenetrable mass of antiquated words. Excuse me while I just turn my page. And strange old meanings. I now saw it could be a two-tone negative of the world we perceive. It could be blunt. It did not have to rhyme, and it was sharp as a scalpel. It was prescient, it was retrospective, it could be anywhere at any time, and it could even be open to one such as me. Moving forward from that point of introduction at comprehensive school, I let my interest subside and lie dormant until about 1995, when a brief awakening occurred. Then again in 98, I saw the sparrows fluttering, then nothing until 2023. My father's death and the subsequent fallout lit a match under me, and the poetry flooded out at speed comparable to his chronic drinking. Expressing and exploring my feelings regarding my father's demise via poetry allowed me to heal the unhealable and find peace, and also purpose and passion for life. I chose to emulate Hughes' style while at the same time subverting its meaning, while also honouring his genius and gift to me of poetry appreciation. Lofty for a white, middle-aged, uneducated lorry driver, and probably ill-advised. Even the low-born can dream. Maybe we should dream. View of a Pig seemed to me a stark and unflinching examination of death. I just made it personal to me by simple paraphrasing. There's no hidden meaning in the stanzas, just simple truth. Except the fifth stanza, that is. More precisely, lines 2, 3 and 4. Dad was a good musician. The more he was unable to play or listen to music, due to the infirmity of age, the more upset he became. Music was an anchor for him, but a good one, not one that weighed him down. Rather, it kept him from drifting. He put enormous energy into his music over the years, and it was certainly worthy of note. When I went to view his body 2 weeks after he died, his face had somehow been stretched to make him appear better. He had mostly played the guitar, but for a time in the early 80s had taught himself to play the banjo, which is why I use the term banjo at the end of the poem. Anyway, that's it. Any questions, leave them in the comments section. Thank you.